Socialism versus generosity. Okay, so I believe in generosity. I do not believe in socialism. I believe in working hard, producing a service, and when people are hurt, you help them get up, you give them the information, you help get, you give them the resources that they need, you help them get back up on their feet. And if they don't if they're not interested in getting back up on their feet, then I think that you should withdraw your generosity because it's not going to help them for you to just keep giving them money and resources, and it's going to hurt you. If they don't want to change, if they don't want to improve their life, that's it's hard. It's hard to watch somebody just not do that. It's hard to watch somebody take what you give them. I mean, I'm sure there's so many people out there who you've given somebody 20 bucks because you're just trying to help them out. Here, buy some gas or something, and you find out that they bought something else with it. They bought cigarettes, or they bought drugs, or they bought alcohol, or whatever. And it's just that's a waste of your money, you know. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't that you shouldn't do it in the first place. I'm just saying that once you do that, if you see somebody that's habitually just using you, then it's time to stop being involved with them, and it's time to stop giving them things because they need to learn that the world is not just going to cater to them. Um, and that's where I would bring socialism in. Socialism teaches people that the world is supposed to cater to them. More specifically, that the government is supposed to cater to them. And when people advocate, when somebody like Bernie Sanders goes up and says, "Hey, I'm going to give everyone free college. I'm going to make sure that everybody has free health care. I'm gonna do all this stuff." What he's basically doing is he's bribing the voter with someone else's money. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't take care of people's health care, help people with their health care. I'm not saying that we shouldn't help people who are educated go to college. Just as a general principle of capitalism, when somebody does good in school, the college offers a scholarship because they want that person to come and to go to school. Because if that person and their intelligence, you know, when a person is intelligent like that, they're likely to succeed. They're likely to create a product that changes the world. And then the college can say, yeah, that person came to our college. Don't you want to come here? So there's an incentive for them to give that scholarship. And I think that the way that we've gone about it for a long time is just wrong. I think it's something that should be given over to charity. And I think some people kind of scoff at that notion, but I I see plenty of people on the internet, and they're just doing things. They're just sitting there talking like I am, and then they open up, if enough people like what they say, they open up a Patreon account, and if people like what they say and want to help them to have more time to do that, then they give to them so that that they can do not have to work so much. And I don't have a problem with any of that. I don't have a problem with anybody going and asking for money for any reason. Um, I mean, I think I don't have a problem with that legally. I don't think it hurts uh, the country. I think that it might be not beneficial to the individual if all they do is beg. I mean, let's say somebody gets on like GoFundMe or something, and they're like, "Oh, well, hook me up with $10,000 just because." I think that you know, that's lazy, and it shows a lack of respect for what people worked hard for. But if you are somebody who's more like, somebody online who's giving out content free, and you're offering something for free, and you say, can you help me to continue to do this, and so that I can have more time? I think it's valuable to give to that person. But I don't believe that the government should take money from people who work hard and give it to other people. It shouldn't happen like that. And redistributionist policies in general have had massive consequences for several civilizations and several societies. It's not a good thing. The government should not be in control of taking people's money and giving it to somebody else. Charities should be in control of that. I refuse to believe that charity cannot do a better job of that. And I really believe that a lot of things, I mean, I'm not a big fan of taxes in general, but I think anything that's in excess of the cops, the firefighters, you know, like some of those things that uh, universally benefit us all, those are the things. But when you have a system that, for instance, pays for everyone's health care, and the system that America has now, that's the country I live in. Obviously, you can maybe see this flag. Um, in America, we have a subsidization of healthcare, and it's terrible. It's terrible because you can really only get the subsidies if you don't work or work very little. And I have a full-time job, or well, at least seasonally, it's full-time, and I couldn't even get it. I tried to get some health care because, or I tried to get some health insurance because I don't want to get fined. I don't like the idea of being fined, and I don't like the idea as a Christian of breaking the law, but I just can't afford it because I don't qualify for the subsidies. And I don't want to qualify for the subsidies. I don't want somebody else paying for my health insurance. I believe it's wrong. But I'm stuck in a hard spot. So right now I don't have any health insurance. I was on I live in Indiana, so I was on HIP for a while, but I couldn't, once I got my job, I just couldn't have that anymore. They wouldn't let me keep that. And I did not plan on using that at all. So now whenever I have to go to the doctor, I got to pay out of pocket. It's really not good. But I would say that people are not going to respect the fact that you worked really hard. There's all kind. I already know several people, well, at least one or two people that were had hip, and they were just going to the hospital getting meds like every weekend. And then when one hospital would ban them, they just go to another hospital. And so I mean that's using for anybody who works, they're using your money to do this. Your money that the government has taken from you, they're using this to go and buy drugs. So for any responsible and conscientious person out there, that's a little disturbing. So I would say definitely generosity, but definitely not socialism. Socialism is very bad. There have been a lot of very, very bad consequences to socialism. Not just, people whine about capitalism like capitalism is such a horrible thing. And it's like, so what if there's somebody who's really, really rich? You have to understand that capitalism is bringing the bottom up. So, people at least have something. People at least have something, you know, and I think it's just, oh my goodness. I have to make the point again. It's been tried and tried and tried and tried. And not just in modern societies. It's been tried over and over and over again in other societies. And it becomes a problem. It becomes a big problem. And it becomes very dangerous and very volatile. And it's not the road that we want to go down as Americans. So, yes, I would say I do believe in generosity, but I would be careful how you use your generosity. Use it to help people who are going to help. Use it to help people that are going to get up and help you to help the rest of the world. Don't use it on people who just keep taking your money. I actually have fallen into this a few times. I've actually had somebody who was a crackhead actually con me into giving them money several times. And when I found out about it and I said, why don't you go to this, I suggested to him that he went to go to this place. And he's like, oh, I got kicked out of there. And I was like, well, wait a second, you know, why are you getting kicked out of these places? This is your chance, and he got mad at me and he didn't talk to me anymore. And that's okay. That's okay. I forgive him. I don't think it's good for his life. I forgive him for what he did to me, and I forgive him for what he's doing to himself. I mean, if he's still alive, I don't have any idea. And I heard other stories about how he really used a lot of good people to get money, and that I think that's garbage. You need to really look at yourself as a human being if that's what you're doing, and you need to make a change if that's what you're doing. We have to try to stand on our own 2 feet. It's a goal of every person. It should be a goal of every person to stand on their own 2 feet and help people that have fallen off of their feet and onto their butt. It's to help them get up. And if somebody doesn't want to get up, then go to the next person. But but don't implement socialism as though it's it's some kind of compassion, because it's not compassion. Socialism is one of the most dangerous things in the entire world. These kind of policies, these kind of policies, and this kind of ideal is it's the most destructive ideal I've ever come across. If you know anything about what happened in communism, and communism employed these kind of policies, destroyed millions of people, more people than you can just think about. That's how many people it destroyed. It destroyed so many people. It's like the specks on my ceiling. That's how many people. It's a lot of people. Anyway, I'm running out of time, so that's my thoughts. So I'm pro generosity, but anti socialism.